In this video, I will show you all the best ways to farm Superior Lair Keys, including the guaranteed method, the Nightmare Dungeon method, and another backup method you can use while waiting for the main event to return. First, what are Superior Lair Keys used for? Superior Lair Keys are endgame boss ladder keys used to open the reward hordes after defeating the highest tier lair bosses. You do not need the keys to summon or fight these bosses, but without the keys, you cannot open their reward hordes and collect the real loot. Currently, Superior Lair Keys can be used for Beliar and the seasonal Corrupted Reaper. The Corrupted Reaper is especially important because its horse has the best direct drop chance for mythic uniques and Pandemonium fragments compared to any other activity in the game. So if your goal is to farm mythic gear or collect enough Pandemonium fragments to upgrade a unique into a mythic unique, farming Superior Lair Keys is where the entire loop begins. But before we continue, this video is sponsored by Senior Unlocks. If you want to instantly stack your character with gold, runes, gems, boss material, or even speed up your Paragon leveling, check out seniorsunlock.com. They offer plenty of options for Diablo 4, Path of Exile 2, and more, with multiple gaming platforms with fast delivery around 20 minutes, with a 4.9 star rating on Trustpilot. The link is in the description, and use code DCSK at checkout to get 5% off your order for a limited time. There are several ways to obtain them, but the best and most reliable method is farming the Colossal Rupture event at the Fields of Desecration. This is the World Boss Arena southeast of Zabinzad. Colossal Ruptures only appear at this location, and unlike normal or surging ruptures, completing a Colossal Rupture will always summon a Realm Walker. Once the event begins, defeat the enemies, close the Rupture tiers, and complete the objective. After that, the Realm Walker will appear. Defeat the Realm Walker and it will open a portal leading directly into the Death Toll Chamber. The Death Toll Chamber is a small, one-room mini dungeon. Once you enter, defeat the enemies and complete the Rupture activity inside. After completing the Death Toll Chamber on a high Torment level, you are guaranteed to receive at least one Superior Lair Key. However, at the time of recording this video, there appears to be a display issue with the name of the key when it drops on the floor. Instead of displaying the name Superior Lair Key, it appears as a Lair Boss Key. Sometimes, you may even see two different types of Lair Boss Keys drop at the same time. One is Greater Lair Key, while the other is actually the Superior Lair Key. You can tell the difference by checking both the color and the shape of the loot beam. The Greater Lair Key has a straight beam, while the Superior Lair Keys has a curved beam that makes it easier to distinguish once you know what to look for. So do not ignore any Lair Boss Keys that drop inside the Death Toll Chamber. Pick up everything, even when the ground label appears incorrect. Once collected, the correct key should appear in your inventory. For difficulty, Blizzard only says that the guaranteed superior key applies on high torment levels. They have not confirmed exactly which torment tier counts as high torment. I believe the guarantee begins around torment 10, but this has not been officially confirmed. To be safe, play at the highest torment difficulty your build can comfortably handle. However, do not force yourself into a difficulty where every monster takes forever to kill. The best difficulty is still the highest torment where you can survive and delete the enemies quickly. The Colossal Rupture event is not always available, it only appears every 25 minutes. So while you are waiting for it to return, you can continue farming Superior Lair Keys through Nightmare Dungeons with the Rupture affix. When you enter a Nightmare Dungeon with the Rupture affix, search the dungeon for ruptures and close the required 15 Rupture tiers. Once you have closed enough tiers, a portal to another Death Toll Chamber will open inside the Nightmare Dungeon. Enter the portal, complete the chamber, and collect your Superior Lair Key. After that, you can return to the Nightmare Dungeon and continue completing the rest of the dungeon as normal. This makes Rupture Affix Nightmare Dungeon one of the best repeatable alternatives because you do not need to wait for the Colossal Rupture World event. Nightmare Sigils with the Rupture Affix can randomly drop from activity around Sanctuary. You may receive them from Whisper Caches, World Bosses, previous Nightmare Dungeon, and other sources that normally rewards Nightmare Sigils. However, if you do not have one, you can visit the Occultist and craft random Nightmare Sigils using Sigil Powder. Check every sigil you craft for the Rupture Affix, salvage all the unwanted sigils to recover some sigil powder, then continue crafting until you finally get the Rupture Affix. It is still random, you may need to craft quite a few sigil, but this is one of the fastest way to actively search for Rupture Affix Nightmare Dungeon instead of waiting for one to randomly drop. You can also run Escalation Sigil for another chance of getting the Rupture Affix on one of the upcoming Nightmare Dungeon floors. To improve this method, unlock Branching Pathway in the Nightmare Dungeon War Plan Activity Skill 3. Branching Pathway causes 2 additional Horror Drake Portal to appear whenever you advance to the next dungeon in a Nightmare escalation. More portals means more affixes choices, and every additional choice gives you another chance for the Rupture Affix to appear on the next floor. This does not guarantee the Rupture Affix, but it gives you more chances during a single escalation sigil and makes your escalation runs much more efficient. There is also one more backup method you can use, which is farming Surging Rupture World events inside Helltide. Surging Rupture can replace normal local events during Helltide. To have a chance of summoning a Realm Walker, you must complete the event with Mastery by defeating 200 enemies inside the Ritual Circle before the time runs out. The Mastery requirement is normally very easy when you have a strong build, especially when other players are helping with the event. However, unlike a Colossal Rupture, completing a Surging Rupture with Mastery does not guarantee a Realm Walker. It only gives you a chance for one to appear. If the Realm Walker does spawn, defeat it, enter the Death Toll Chamber, and collect another Superior Lair Key. This makes Surging Rupture a useful backup method whenever the Colossal Rupture is unavailable and you have run out of Nightmare Sigils with the Rupture Affix. Lastly, you can also obtain Superior Lair Keys from Beliar ambushes. Use your regular Lair Keys to open the reward hordes of normal Lair bosses. Then use the Greater Lair Keys you receive to farm Greater Lair bosses. After opening a Lair boss horde, there is a random chance for the ambush version of Beliar to appear. Defeating this ambush version of Beliar can reward Superior Lair Keys. So technically, your Greater Lair Keys can eventually lead to Superior Lair Keys, but they are not directly converted. You must repeatedly open Lair boss horde and hope that Beliar ambushes you. Because the ambush is completely random, this should be treated as an additional bonus method rather than your main Superior Lair Key farm. Combine all of these methods, and you can continuously farm Superior Lair Keys without standing around and waiting for only one event. Once you have collected enough keys, you can start repeatedly farming the Corrupted Reaper for Mythic Uniques and Pandemonium Fragments. If this guide helped you, leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more Diablo 4 farming guides, and I will see you guys in the next video.